guys, it's Morgan, and it's the third and last day of BroadwayCon.
Let's just read it for sense. Cool? Here we go.
We've never played these rules.
No.
Which is a shame. Here we go. Just from the top. Go ahead, Leslie, when you're ready.
Good evening. I'm Adelaide, the well-known fiancée.
Oh, yes. When are you getting married?
The 12th of never.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't even get close enough to a church to be left at it. Gee, what'll I tell my mother?
Oh, your mother will understand. Just tell her your engagement is broken.
I'm afraid that might confuse her. Maybe I'll tell her Nathan is dead, and then see to it.
You mustn't carry hate in your heart, Miss Adelaide. Try to be forgiving and understanding, and the pain will go away. In the Bible, it tells us in Isaiah.
You got a boyfriend named Isaiah, huh?
Isaiah was an ancient prophet.
Don't tell me. Nobody cries like that over an old guy. Whoever it is, you got it bad. You know, when I saw you with Sky Masterson the other night...
And Sarah starts to cry.
Oh no, not Sky. You're not in love with Sky.
She doesn't answer.
You poor thing.
Sarah might gesture helplessly.
I thought I hated him.
I thought I hated Nathan. I still think I hate him. That's love.
Adelaide, can't men like Sky ever change?
For 14 years, I've tried to change Nathan. I've always thought how wonderful he would be if he was different.
I've thought about Sky that way too.
Good. We're going to stop there for the sake of today.
Good evening. I'm Adelaide, the well-known fiancée.
Oh, yes. When are you getting married?
The 12th of never.
Oh.
Good. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe that's not the right choice, but we'll see. Yeah. But that was really great. I'm really, I think that's a really great start to the scene, and that's all we're going to get to. So I want to open to Q&A.
If you're replacing in a role, you're clearly not doing table readings and all that sort of stuff, which is absolutely true. And I'm doing a panel to exactly that. I do not know at what time, but it's either at 1 or 2. It's at 2. I don't know what room it's in, but it's happening somewhere in this building. It's in the travel show, which is awkward. But but if you want to come to that, but to answer your question, correct. You don't do any table reads as a replacement, and you are often, it depends. I mean, as like when I replaced for Elphaba, I had the associate director. I had who David was on If That, like to put me into the show and give me sort of proper rehearsals. If you're going in as an ensemble member, you're more often than not put in by the stage manager, who is walking around saying, and then you cross to 6 and you're gonna sit down and like 12 people will come over and you'll cross through them and you're kind of going, oh, okay. And even as Elphaba, like that would happen, and then you finally get you put in and you turn around and 12 people are actually coming at you, which has not happened for a few weeks, and it's a very different jam than starting something, even a show that's very well known, like all from the same point.
I would say, like, exactly what Julia's saying, it kind of happens on your feet. Like when I was putting in Elizabeth's into If Then, exactly. As you're blocking them, you're saying, and this line is about this, great, and this was cut because, and you're trying to give them as much information as you can, but it's very limited.
I think that's not a great director. You know, I think, but you know what I mean? Like, I've been in situations like that where I'm going, please give me some place because you're not giving me anything, and I don't think what I'm doing is correct because you don't look happy, I don't think I'm happy. And it's really difficult to say, look, I don't want you to give me line readings, but tell me what you're thinking, and then I can then interpret that. But it's really tricky, it's very tricky because you have to have everybody, you have to make everybody happy or everybody proud of what is on that stage, and it's not a good.
I think you're in a difficult situation. I'm sorry you went through that, but again, just the way that you phrased it just now is exactly what to say. Like, this is what I'm trying to do. It's not working. What can we do to make it better?
You took all the right steps.
You did. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Andrew Bradis, and here I am sitting on a stage at BroadwayCon, surrounded by real actors with real credits and real reasons to be here. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. You've maybe only heard of me because someone you follow accidentally retweeted me, or you're a fan of any of one of these reputable people I've somehow managed to trick into doing something for what began as a Twitter joke under the influence of Take-A-Ray Gin, and accidentally grew into whatever the F it is now. Well, however this all happened, you're all here, I'm here, these wonderful actors who may or may not have been bribed with fine alcohol or drugged are here too. Welcome to So Blessed at BroadwayCon. If you are not familiar with So Blessed, it is described as being an irreverent analysis of what life is like for both aspiring, employed, and mostly unemployed actors living in today's world. It was published before Hamilton, which means that without So Blessed, there would be no Hamilton. Lin-Manuel's mom retweeted me once, I know how this works. Reading for us today, I am blessed, grateful, and humbled, which is a word that also means to go, to be joined by Leslie Margarita, Eric Anderson, Kayala Settle, and not Nick Rouleau because he's sick. So I'll be Nick. I'll be Nick today, and it'll be great because I auditioned for the Book of Mormon once, and he got that track. So. And it also should be noted that Eric Anderson, the last time we shared a stage together, was in a San Diego regional production of Cabaret, where he played the MC, and I was the gorilla. So without wasting any more time, because equity... Oh my God, Julia Murney, and Andrew P. I'm so sorry, guys. I haven't drank anything yet. This is all right, so without wasting any more time, because equity is watching us at this very moment. What? I said Julia Murney, and Andrew P. I did? I said about Julia Murney and Andrew P.
I'm Leslie Margarita, and I'll be reading Chapter 1, Are You Blessed? This is a quote. I'm so blessed to be able to utilize the opportunity to live and create as an actor. No matter where this road goes, I'm enjoying the ride. Before you can learn to work in show business, you must ask yourself, are you blessed? Being blessed is not something that comes quietly. You aren't born with it. It is thrust upon you with little warning. One day you're content with the prospects of being a doctor, and then bam! You're like, I gotta dance! It's a calling. Just like when the nuns in Sister Act asked Dolores Van Cartier when she got the call to join the sisterhood, actors receive a special call from the spiritual God of theater that tells us to go forth and spread our gift. That's a lot of stuff. Receiving the call is the precise moment when an actor becomes blessed. It's when they first discover they are destined to work. However, thousands of actors get the call to work with an E, but that doesn't always mean they will work with an O. To be successful in show business, you can't just be blessed. You have to be #SoBlessed. The #SoBlessed actor has an enviable career and carries with them an ultimate understanding of how the industry works. Remember, it's no coincidence that the words show business have the same initials as So Blessed. When we're through, you'll have all the tools needed to truly fulfill your calling. If you aren't quite sure if you're blessed or if you're ever going to be blessed, here are a few examples of when ordinary people discovered they were blessed. At Emma X Pace. Oh no, at Emma X. When I was 3 and saw Cats and asked my dad if that was a movie, he told me, no, those are actual people performing. At Drew Chandler. I'm hired to say words. Opening night, age 11. I perspired while I box stepped and dropped a melted bent knife slid on my lips. What? Oh, I perspired while I box stepped and a drop of melted Ben Nye slid on my lips. It was the taste of blessed. At Bailey Ford 2016, on my 6th birthday when I cried realizing I wasn't Dakota Fanning yet. The anointing can come from being emotionally affected by a performance while performing on stage, or even from a deeply rooted guttural envy you have of someone else's hashtag, so blessedness. It doesn't matter how you become blessed, it only matters that it happens. Once you are blessed, you are ready to embark on a journey that will take you deep into the mythical kingdom of Manhattan and all its surrounding wonder. This book will serve as a guide in your quest to find the true meaning of being blessed, and by the end you will be hashtag so blessed. If you said yes to being blessed, then consider it the place is called for your destiny.
Like, yeah, it's really great. And then I have, of course, like I drove around in like high school and college with my friends listening to I'm Not Waiting.
Oh, you did?
Of course I had her album. I'm
That's
such a huge
nice.
fan, you guys. And then we got to work on a concert together. So then it was like, oh my God, dreams come true.
Dreams come true.
And now I'm like moderating a panel.
And sometimes they don't. But that's a whole other, or that is this panel, I suppose.
Exactly. So this is so fun because I'm excited to know just as much as all of these kids are on like how to get a career in the theater as told by Julia Murney.
Oh me, oh my.
So take us through just your little journey on how, you know, you were working a lot of off-Broadway stuff before you came to Broadway, yes, and doing like a lot of,
yeah.
So tell us about like your journey there, and yeah, let's start there.
Well, first of all, I have to say, I mean, I think I can speak for any other actor here. We don't consider our careers, like, there's a Broadway career and then everything else. It's just a career. You're just grateful to, you might hear this repeated, and it sounds cliche, but the reason it's repeated is because it's the dang truth. If you get to work, you get to work, and you're really grateful for it. And so I went to Syracuse University, and I grew up in New York City. And so after college, I basically cheated and just moved back in with my parents. So I don't know what it's like to have to move to New York and figure that one out. That's a mystery to me. That being said, and my dad's an actor. And so I thought with all those elements that I totally knew how it went, like what the deal was. And I was, guess what? Flat out wrong. I knew nothing, because you don't know anything. I mean, I knew some stuff, and I knew how to, you know, which line went where on the subway, but beyond that, there's just all this stuff you have to learn by doing. And my particular trick, if you will, is that I was never an ingenue. Not when I was 20, I just wasn't. Even though I was young and technically fresh-faced, there's a tone in me, there's an angularity to me that just doesn't scream Laurie in Oklahoma. Frankly, it doesn't scream virginal, and that's what they look for. I mean, I played Mazeppa in summer camp when I was 15. Inappropriate. Stage door manner. They have a so I got here, and one of the things I didn't understand, I didn't get, was that my very first agents, like, I thought they didn't know what to send me up for. And the truth is, when you're brand new and you don't fit easily into a slot, it's hard to figure out what to send you up for. And but it was things like, I remember having several auditions for different productions of My Fair Lady somewhere. But because I wasn't a soprano, I would go in and I would sing, it would be sort of like song of choice kind of thing from the show, and I wouldn't sing I Could Have Danced All Night because I didn't have the G at the end. And frankly, that whole song's about the G. I mean, really, like there are certain songs that are so iconic that if you don't nail that puppy, then click, click, get out. And so I would sing Without You, which is another song from the show that doesn't have the G. But guess what? And then happily, I would get called back. Guess what they asked for at the callback? So finally, I was like, I need to stop auditioning for My Fair Lady. I need to do the play Pygmalion. That's what I need to do. Like, so it was just sort of figuring out, okay, I remember I had an audition once for Maria in The Sound of Music. And I thought, again, that was when I was starting to realize, I'm like, what do I do? And so I sang the song I Have Confidence, which is in the movie, not in the stage play. And right before I started singing, I turned my back and sang my whole thing with my back to them, trying to turn around while singing, I have confidence in sunshine, like trying to get the confidence to turn around. They offered me a nun and an understudy. Like, so they responded to it, but I wasn't gonna book Maria because, and so it was a lot of like doing readings that were, just in the last panel I did, someone asked like, what do you do if you're coming out of college, what's your advice? And like, to me, the biggest advice is just say yes. Just say yes, say yes, say yes to whatever it is. And if no one's asking you, find something to which you can say yes. And the only exception to that is if you feel uncomfortable or in danger, in which case, absolutely say no. If they're like, oh, P.S., you have to take your top off. And if you're like, I'm not down with that, don't do it. That's fine. It doesn't make you less of an actor for not wanting to do that. That's fine. But saying yes puts you in these rooms with these people who, and they might be readings that are just the worst. You might be like, I might not know much, I might not have a huge career at this point, but I'm pretty sure this is bad. But you have no idea who you're sitting with in terms of the rest of your life, who you meet, so the kind of the infamous story to those who know it is, at one point, I had an audition for a show called Snapshots, which was a Stephen Schwartz. It had been adapted and was being directed by someone I actually went to Stage Door Manor with, to my camp. So already, like the spinning of connections that you don't even know. It was a new show. It was sort of Mamma Mia before Mamma Mia. It was all Stephen Schwartz music shoved into a brand new book. So, and at that point, he was the composer of Pippin and Godspell. That's how long ago we're talking. And I got my equity card doing Godspell. And I was like, oh my God, is Stephen Schwartz gonna be at this audition? And he was. And so I sang whatever my song was, and then Stephen Schwartz says to me, do you know Meadowlark? Now, I don't know if all of you know this song. I would kind of assume you would. It's 8 years long. And you should never sing it, frankly. It belongs to Patti LuPone. Good night and good luck. And I said, well, I know it, but I don't have it with me. And he turned to the music director, who had just played second keyboards for Patti LuPone's concerts on Broadway. And he went, Andrew, and Andrew Lippa, who was the music director, got up and went to the piano and played the shit out of Meadowlark with no music in front of him. And we finished, and he finished playing, and he went, who are you? And I went, who are you? And he likes to say we had sex that day. And he swears that he wrote on his little notepad, who is she, question mark, Queenie, question mark. From one audition, I met Stephen and Andrew. I got that job, but it didn't start for a couple months, and Andrew called me and said, do you remember me? We're doing a reading of this show I've just begun to write. Would you come and do a reading of it? I was like, sure. And because you say yes. And I played May, who at the time was just a character from the poem. She wasn't what she eventually became in the show. And I remember having done a number of those readings where you're like, I'm pretty sure this is bad. I remember going home, I remember sitting at the table with my parents that night for dinner because I was still living with them and going, this is so good. It's so good. And so much of what we did that day did not end up, it wasn't the whole show, it was just pieces. But like the opening was the same, Poor Child was there, Lesbian Love Story was there. And Alex Corey and I were the two people who were in there from kind of from the beginning. But, and then we did Snapshots, and at some point during Snapshots, Andrew said to me, I want you to try Queenie. And I was like, oh no, I can't. Because I to this day, basically don't have the confidence. I watch someone else do something, and I think, oh, good for her. Look at her go. Let's see. You know, I never have that, like, I want to try that. And I get intimidated very easily. But it was done at the O'Neill, up at the O'Neill Theater Center in Connecticut, which does summertime workshops of musicals and plays and cabaret and stuff. And he fought for me to do it up there, because they just cast people they know, and nobody knew who I was. And he fought for it, and I worked on it for 4.5 years, and then ended up doing it. But I was 30 when I did Wild Party, so I had all these people be like, "Where have you been?" I'm like, "I've been right here." You know, that they think you're some wacky, like, overnight sensation. We lifted a bushel of hay, and there she was. She was on the 1 train. But all that is to say, like, to rewind it back, because I went to that audition. Because I got asked to go to the audition, because I knew one person, like, you know, you just have no idea.
When and what was the first show that you replaced in? And we'll just go right down the line.
My Broadway debut, I was a replacement in The Heights on Broadway. I was in the closing cast of that.
And I've only replaced in one show on Broadway, and it was called Wicked.
You're popular, Julia. Yes, you are. Mine was a long time ago. My first one was a show called Will Rogers Follies. I stepped in for Ziegfeld's Favorite with Katie Huffman. Oh, you got one right there.
Hello. My first only Broadway replacement was the show that I met the co-founder of BroadwayCon doing, called 6 Degrees of Separation.
Oh no, please. My first replacement was playing Gaston. I was number 2. I was the second Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. One of the best jobs I ever had.
Okay, now.
And he didn't use a mic.
And more often than not, I didn't use a mic. Because that sucker went out a lot. Yep.
And the muscles were yours too.
Oh, all of it was mine. See, all the other Gastons had like these padded chests and everything. They had to take the padding out from me. And I liked reminding them all of that fact.
I'm assuming there are some people in the room who don't actually know what the experience is of replacing someone on Broadway. You all have heard about new shows and a rehearsal process in 4 weeks and everybody growing and learning together. That's not always the case. So could you talk about what your experience of being put into a show has been?
I actually have had a couple different experiences. The first time, when I did In the Heights, I had already done the tour for a year. So I kind of had developed a character over the run of the show on tour. And so when I hopped into the Broadway cast, it was a pretty fast and furious thing, and I had to readjust to the different energies and the different actors around me. However, when I replaced on Wicked, and I was playing Nessa Rose, and that was the first time I'd ever played that show. So that was a completely different experience, to just jump in, having never been in the world of the show. And that one I just had a couple weeks, which the hardest thing was actually getting the wheelchair to work right on this rigged stage. That was pretty hard.
You say you had a couple of weeks. Did you have a couple of weeks with other cast members? Is it just
right?
You
Yeah. So for a couple of weeks, I had the stage manager and the dance captains, and I think I only worked with the principals and the ensemble one time before my first performance.
Yeah.
Julia?
When I went into Wicked, they did an experiment. They wanted to see how quickly they could put a green witch in, so I had about 10 days. It was sort of like doing summer stock, but Wicked. And that was actually for the tour. And I think because it was Alphaba, like I had the associate director, and there was a new Nessa going in, there was a new wizard going in, and a new Morrible going in. So it was nice because we actually had some rehearsal time with one another. They pulled a Glinda understudy from the Broadway company to do our rehearsals, who happened to be a great friend of mine. So that was an utter delight. Megan Sikora, I do check her out. And it's a very strange thing because you'll be told things like, and then you turn and then like 12 people will come at you and then you're like, oh, okay. And you have this concept of that and then in your put in, 12 people come at you and you're like, who are these people? And it's very, there's a show that we all call the Shove with Love show, which is basically sometimes you're like, somebody help me. And somebody who knows the show is like, this way. It's just like just a gentle, go over there, go into that light, Carol Ann. And but it's definitely a very singular experience to do that. And you don't get multiple, I actually did get 2 full run-throughs of the show, which is not common. Usually you get 1 put in. And oftentimes they'll skip the parts that your character is not in. So there are parts of the show that you're like, oh, did that happen? Oh, wait, I have to be changed by now? Oh, okay. And there's just all these things that your brain, eventually it becomes completely secondhand and you can't imagine a time when you didn't know it and you didn't know what you were doing. But it's an adventure.
Yeah. I'm Frankie, so sorry that I was late. I had to do this. This takes a few hours. I actually have only replaced. I was first replacement on the Dora the Explorer Live first equity tour. I was Boots the Monkey. Yes, I was. Radio City Music Hall, 12 shows. It was amazing. Then I replaced in Mamma Mia in the ensemble. And then most recently I replaced I was the final Franz in Rock of Ages on Broadway. Thank you so much. Thank you for the applause. There should be more. More applause, please. Thank you. I had only seen Wesley Taylor do it. That's it. I was obsessed with Rock of Ages. I only wanted to see the original cast, and I think I saw the second cast, but Wesley was still in it. So I'd only seen Wesley. But it'd been so many years, it'd been about 6 years since I'd seen him do it, and I am Franz. Like, hello. Like, Frankie and Franz are basically the same person, just with a German accent, and I'm actually gay. Whereas Franz ends up with a strange woman at the end. But, so they let me do whatever I wanted, and it was really, really nice. I learned the show in 4 days, but that was my choice, because I had just come off of Big Brother. There were so many Big Brother, yes, I heard so many press obligations, and they wanted to keep me out in California as much as possible, but they wanted me to start as quickly as possible, and they were like, well, we want to give you 2 weeks of rehearsal, and I was like, 2 weeks? No, I know that show inside out, upside down, and backwards, I can do it in a week. And they were like, ooh, and I was like, I can do it in a week. So I learned the show in 4 days, watched it, and then went in, I did. And I remember, I completely made it my own. Like I didn't study anyone, and the person that I had replaced had been bought out. So for me to come in, and it's so funny, like when you return as a reality television star, like that's what I was to the cast of Rock of Ages. They were like, oh, so reality TV star's gonna come into the show. And I was like, bitch, I've been on Broadway for 3 years before this. I was like, how come everybody forgot that I had done the Broadway gig first? I guess it's because what you have done loudest is the impersonation. So I had to prove myself to that whole cast, and I did, and they were wonderful. And then we got our closing notice, and they had everyone on stage was original cast except for me and Sherry. And everyone who's ever played the roles was going to be in the audience on closing night. And I remember it was in like a freeze in like the opening number, where I was like frozen, and then in my mind I was like, oh my God, Wesley Taylor's going to come see me play Franz. And I like freaked out, like I had like a nervous breakdown, like an out-of-body experience. And closing was 3.5 hours because there was so much applause. It was amazing. And then Wesley came up after me and was like, you found moments in Franz that I did not know existed, and you made jokes work that I never knew could. So you're amazing. And I was like, thank you. And I cried.
So others are making
say jeune, Amelie. And we're friends. All right, so let's do a little chitter chatter. So you can hold your mic. Isn't it cool to just hold the mic? I think it's so much. I think it's sweet to have it on the stand. Anyways, all right. So Lily Crawford, I have 1,000 questions. First, louder, more staging. I just want more noise while I'm talking. Lily Crawford, tell my audience what your first Broadway show was. Go.
Wait, what? Sorry.
We're gonna edit that out. It's a radio show. So we're gonna get. Hey, Lila, tell everybody here what your first Broadway show was.
Beauty and the Beast.
It was?
Yeah.
Matt, you weren't in Beauty and the Beast. I mean, the first Broadway show you saw?
Oh, I thought you were asking what the first Broadway show I saw
Who the
was.
hell cares about
Sorry,
that?
let me
No, what was it?
Sorry.
Watch this. Hey, Lila, tell everybody. Hey, Lila, tell everybody what your first Broadway show was.
Billy Elliot.
Thank you. Okay, so you were Billy Elliot. You were one of the dancing kids, right?
Yeah, it was the ballet teacher's daughter.
How did you? You were from California, though, weren't you? How'd you get the gig?
Yeah, so I was in town doing like a Broadway.
Wait, is town New York?
Yeah.
Go on. I was in town. Yeah, okay,
So
whatever.
I was doing like a 2-week Broadway intensive, like a camp, like a summer camp, and my agent happened to. I went for like a go-see, wasn't for anything specific, but I saw Nora Brennan, who was the casting director of Billy Elliot. And then, like, that was July, and then in November, they called me back saying, we need a new Debbie.
It took 4 months to say you had a call
Yeah,
back?
because, well, they weren't looking for anyone, they just saw me to see me. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes casting directors just kind of like have people come in for the future.
Yeah, but I never ever get anything from that. It's always like, put you on file, show closes, I'm devastated. So it actually worked out for you. Keep
Yeah,
going.
it actually worked out, and then, so then they called me in, they flew me to New York to do the audition for Debbie, and then I ended up getting it.
And then when you were a replacement in a Broadway show, how many weeks rehearsals did you get?
That one was a long rehearsal process because it was really dance heavy, and I was only 10, and so I think it was like 2 months.
And didn't that show, I feel, wasn't there always something going wrong with that show? Either like a kid falling off the stage or the set collapsing or something?
Right? Yeah. No. Like a lot of things go wrong in every show, but one time we had to stop the show for 90 minutes, and like have
Wait,
the
what
audience.
happened?
It was so, I don't know, okay, so there's this part when like there's all these dancing dresses and there's these streamers that come down and they got tangled up in each other and so it got like stuck and it wasn't coming down and so they had to spend 90 minutes untangling and unraveling each
It's
streamer
like, you know
one
when
by
you have
one.
like an iPad and like your stupid headphones get tangled up before you go to
Yeah.
the gym? Wait, that does take me 90 minutes. Wait, so every single one had to be, why couldn't they just go like, we're gonna go to the next, like why did they have to be untangled?
Because, well, they decided that they were going to keep going, but it was like in the way, and I guess other things come down that way, so it was...
So what did they do? Someone came out and said like, attention audience, I'm British, must stop
Yeah, no, so they actually did a lot of things. They like, first nothing happened, and then it so happened that that day, a former Billy, like one of the original Billies, David Alvarez, I think, he was like visiting the stage door, and so they like dragged him on the stage and was like, do a Q&A. And so him and the Billy that was on that night, like, did like a Q&A for 30 minutes. And then I think at one point, like, a stage manager
just
did
sat there for
stand
30
up.
minutes? Just like while the show, like they were just like sitting?
A lot of them left. One of the girls, I guess her family was in the audience, and they like got pizza and came back, and it was still like they got like pizza across the street.
Okay, but then is it still stopped? It started again. Wait, how long did it take? How many minutes?
90 minutes.
Okay.
I would have just cut it off. Like they literally they were like on ladders, like every crew member, like slowly unraveling.
And then, by the way, where were you backstage? Like when you were a kid in a Broadway show, you get to like hang out backstage and have fun. Did you have like a mean Nurse Ratched, like keeping you in one room, like you're not allowed to speak? By the way, references like so 1974. Anyway, so yeah, do you get to move at all, or is it just like silence?
You know, so sometimes it depended on the Guardian and who was watching us, but usually it was really fun because we were all in the same dressing room. We put 16 girls in one dressing room.
And that was fun?
Like a closet. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was just kind of like hanging out with friends. Like everyone was always on their computer. Like everyone backstage, like literally, like brings their computer and like silently like plays games.
But don't you remember that Annie book? Do you guys remember the Annie book? Remember the big red hardcover, and it's a picture of them on the floor playing jacks? That's what I always assume is going to happen to me backstage at Broadway show.
There was a period where we were all obsessed with card games and magic tricks and like card tricks. So yeah, we would play card games all the time. Actually, that one time when the show stopped for 90 minutes, we like made a scavenger hunt. So like half the girls like made it, and then the other girls like had to like find it.
That's really fun, and you guys had a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah, we like used to watch movies and like we did a lot of stuff.
All right, so Sabs. Hey. So you play young Amelie. Now, as far as I know, this is the kind of thing, this is the horrible thing about Broadway, that you can like originate a role, but they don't really ever guarantee you to the last minute. So I know you played it out of town like a year ago, but you didn't necessarily know you were going to do it on Broadway. When did you finally find out you were going to actually do it on Broadway?
Well, I've been with this show for almost 2 years.
So she knows her lines. Keep going.
Yeah. So,
when did they say you're going to do it on Broadway? Like
yeah,
2 years ago? No.
I found out while we were in LA, which was...
That was not long ago, like, exactly, just a few weeks ago. Can you imagine playing a role and like the whole time knowing you're kind of auditioning for the Broadway version? That would stress me out. Were you completely stressed out? You look on Valium all the time?
Well...
Jen said no.
Well, I kind of knew that I was going to go to Broadway.
Okay.
That was like not politically to say that.
They were like hinting it, sort of. They were like, oh, are you excited for the show to go to Broadway? And I was like, yeah. So they were kind of like hinting it, but they hadn't really made it like 100% sure.
Well, it's always the fear about growing. That's always the big deal.
Yeah. Partly because I'm like super tall and I grow really fast.
Wait, what's your version of super tall? Are you 2'2" at this point? How tall are you, dear?
Like...
Well, what's your Broadway height?
Yeah.
So it's like 2 inches shorter.
Yeah. What?
What's your Broadway height? Resume height?
Yeah. It's like,
exactly.
It's a lie.
Oh wait, wait, what is she? 4'6". Anyway, and I'm 29. All right, it's all good. All right, so Lua, so speaking of roles going to Broadway, just for 1 second, tell the audience about the craziness of getting the role of Annie, a role that I'm still waiting to play. I know that you auditioned, still devastated or not. So I know that you auditioned, and then like you were in LA, and then something happened where like your mom was like, "We're taking you out of school."
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was visiting my friend's school. You know how you can like sit in like on a class when you're like trying to figure out if you want to go to that school or not. So I was doing that, but I actually wasn't considering the school. It was just an excuse to like be with my friend. So I like was doing this, and I was supposed to do it the whole day, but my mom picked me up early and pulled me out and said, it's an emergency, your agent needs you at their office right now. And I kept asking what it was for, and she was like, I don't really know. And so we were texting them, like, what is this, what is going on? And then they were like, she has to film footage for a commercial, and they need her to do an interview right now, and they have to do it at her house. Like, it was something crazy, and like, didn't make any sense. So we went over there, and they sat me down and they set up the camera, and they were very like the lighting has to be right, and like they got everyone in the agency to crowd in the same room and watch it. So this is already suspicious. I don't know, but why I wasn't catching on.
This is basically for documentary, so they could film her finding out that she got Annie. But like,
yeah, they didn't even use it. Come on now. They didn't even use the footage.
Wait, so everybody's in the agency watching you film a commercial audition?
So I don't know. So my mom and sister, because Sally at the time was like 4 years old, and she was like a really rowdy kid, and so my mom like took her into the bathroom so that she like wouldn't like be crazy and make any noise. Like they were hiding, and all of the agents were waiting for them to come out because they wanted them to see the announcement. So we waited for like 30 minutes, and then finally like one of the agents was like, "When are you coming out?" And then my mom was like, "Oh, we were hiding. What is it?" And they were like, "No, you have to be here for this." And so then it was really weird. And then they started asking me questions about my dog, because at the time I had one. And it was so strange. Like, it was like, if you took your dog to the park, which park would you take it to? It was something like stupid. And then and then the agent asked me, how does it feel to be Annie on Broadway? And like, I got really confused and I was so prepared. I came up with this whole answer like, well, I haven't heard yet, but you know, I've been auditioning like the, and then an agent from like the back of the room was like, you got the part! And yeah, and then it was just like screams and hugs and yeah, it was fun. I've never
But they
seen
didn't
that
use
footage.
it?
They didn't use it.
Saigon. It is?
It depends where you're from and how you want to pronounce it.
Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? Anybody?
Alaska.
I'm out.
Florida.
All right, so let's go back. So Eva, I saw you play the role in London. You're amazing. I can't even tell that she's amazing. The acting, the belting, it's crazy. But I know there are all these like, you know, young Broadway people here, so talk about how you got the part in the first place. It seemed very sort of random.
It was
Oh,
very
same
random.
jacket? Sorry, I'm
I
cutting you
think
off.
so. I
Yeah.
wanted to copy you today.
You still got it. Same lipstick too. Anyway, go.
I was doing a musical theater competition called the Jimmy Awards, the National High School Musical
Woo!
Theater Awards.
Woo!
Enthusiasm! And I was spotted by Tara Rubin, who got me in contact with Cameron McIntosh.
She's a casting director.
Yes.
So she was like, oh, we're doing this Saigon, you should come in and audition for it?
Yeah, she just said, you know, did you know about the auditions? And I had no idea, I had no clue.
You didn't have you weren't Lily Crawford style with an agent at 11. You were just like, okay.
No. Which,
Okay.
funny enough, when I went to New York for the Jimmys, we went to see Annie. And we did a Q&A with her. How
You
cool
did?
is that?
Oh, I love
And
that.
she was like, oh, well, you know, my commute to work. And I was like, what's a commute? So it was really amazing.
Okay, well that's
Yeah,
bizarre.
but
We
yeah,
should know
she
that
got me
word.
in contact with Cameron McIntosh. And I did 2 auditions in New York. And he told
Hold
me.
on, you can't skip over a million subjects. Wait, she's like, I got your audition, so then were you like, I'm going in for like one of the girls? Like, who did you know who you were going in
Well,
for?
I knew I was auditioning for a Kim, but I didn't actually know I was auditioning for the role. So.
What's a Kim? Like, you mean like the matinee?
Alternate or,
Oh, I
or
see.
a cover. So I
And
mean,
then what did they give you to sing? What was it?
I had I'd Give My Life for You, I had Sun and Moon, and I also had Kim's Story, which I'm not going to give anything away, but there's a lot of deep stuff that I had to work with. Definitely.
And you were how old?
17?
Okay, so you went and you auditioned, and was Cameron McIntosh there?
Cameron McIntosh was at my second audition. So
Was he eating like blood pudding? Was he like very British? And
Look, it's really good. You should try
It is disgusting. Even more disgusting is black pudding, which I thought was chocolate pudding, and it's actually just like a large intestine with a spoon. Anyway, I'm out. Out. All right. Okay, Michael, talk privately. All right. So Cameron McIntosh. Now, by the way, were you one? Some people I talk to that are young, they're like, I didn't know what was at stake, so I wasn't even nervous. Were you one of those people that you were like?
No, I was really nervous. It was my first ever professional audition, and I mean, I was literally sitting in front of Cameron McIntosh, and I kind of shit myself.
Wait, so,
shot myself.
but you knew Cameron McIntosh was, but the word commute threw you for a loop? Okay, anyway, get back to me about that. What the hell is a commute? All right, so you had 2 auditions, and then what happened was Cameron McIntosh, like, you are
Well,
him?
what happened was I had my second audition was with Lawrence Connor, who's the director, and it was kind of his way of kind of prepping me up to see Cameron the following day, which was at currently where Fancy for the Opera is. So I went there the next day to do my final audition in front of Cameron on stage. He wanted to see me on stage, and he asked me in the stalls. He was like, how do you feel about moving
He asked you where?
in the stalls?
Okay, so just, I don't know if you guys have noticed, she first said Phantom of the Opera, and then she asked me in the stalls. You've been in London too long, lady. You're an American. Speak American. So he asked you
In the orchestra.
Thank you.
And said, how would you like to move to London? And it was amazing.
How does it feel playing Annie on Broadway? It's the same weird sort of like double time. Wait, so you said how would you like to move to, now did you know you were moving to London to be alternate or to be Kim?
I didn't know I was Kim until my agent came down to North Carolina for me to sign the contract.
That's you grew up in North Carolina?
I born and raised in California and then grew up in North Carolina when I was like 7.
So wait, did you happen to see the contract? You're like, where's the word alt? It just said like Kim?
Well, I had no idea what to expect. I was so young and naive. But he was like, so you and the engineer, and the way it was set up on paper was like the engineer Kim, and my name was next to Kim, and I was like, wait, what? So it was like finding out for the second time.
Oh my God. And then when you went to London, did you have like a nurse Ratched coming with you, governess?
No, unless you count my mom. But
Oh.
no, jokes.
Wait, what was she like and how much sneaking out of the apartment did you do?
What?
Was she strict? We can't say open.
No, she wasn't. She actually was supposed to stay with me for 6 months, and she ended up leaving after about 3 weeks. She was like, you don't need me, and I was like, I'll help you pack.
Oh! See you later. And then, what did it feel like? Did you feel, oh my God, this show is riding on me? Like, what kind of pressure did you feel doing that show?
Well, it wasn't just me. You know, anyone doing a revival, I mean, there's so much comparison and so much stress in that. And it's also difficult for the actors doing it because it's not about who's playing it, it's about the story. And we're reflecting what's really happened in our country's history. So it was hugely important to make sure this production was organic and truthful and honest. And, you know, we put our heads together and we worked our butts off, man. And we had the most amazing time. And I think it paid off.
Oh, it was so good. And I'm sort of fascinated with so many different things, like a la Savvy. Did you know you were playing it on Broadway, or did you not know until, like, later on?
I didn't know until the end of the almost second year, so it's closing, because I heard rumors about it, but I never wanted to get my hopes up. And it wasn't until I found out that I got Eponine in the West End, and they said, my agent called, and I will never forget this day, called and said, so they're talking about Broadway, and what do you want to do, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, thanks. Hung up, went home, and kind of was like, wait, did he just tell me I was going to Broadway? And then I cried.
Delayed reaction.
Yeah, like 4 hours delayed.
But I love you guys play Eponine. Please tell me that you belted, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna... Did you belt that? You didn't make sense, will you?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. Just want to make sure, because I still get angry about that.
We recognize that this weekend has been a welcome escape, a place of positivity, warmth, and even refuge from the all too harsh reality of the world outside it. And we are proud and we are thrilled that we were able to provide that respite and hopefully that inspiration. We also feel the same way many of you do, that as wonderful as this bubble is, it's about to burst. And being without this kind of supportive environment can leave you feeling lost and wondering what to do. But we can't ignore this moment. We cannot restrict the empowerment that we feel after a weekend like this to only those who are privileged enough to be a part of it. The theater community is not one event, one moment, or one weekend. Its spirit is ever growing. So we here on staff and on stage are as one, asking you to take what you felt this weekend with you. If you leave here and are met with hatred, intolerance, oppression, and bigotry from people who want to build walls, take away rights, and tear down spirits, please remember what it was like this weekend, the times that you felt impassioned, enlightened, welcomed, informed, safe, included, happy, encouraged, accepted, and loved. The times that you were embraced for being exactly who you are, the time that you spent around people who understand and agree that joy can be resistance, that art can be power, and that love is always, always, always the answer. Please remember those times and please use it. Use it to take what happened in this bubble out into the world, because if we don't share what we felt this weekend, we could lose it. And we will be right here for you. The Broadway and the BroadwayCon community will be here for you all year long, helping raise and share the art and the activism and the care and compassion that are going to get us through whatever's ahead. Thank you so much for coming. Be safe getting home, be good to each other, and please keep making art. And please join us in the land of this song.
Take your hand, we move our feet, and we cue the band and feel the beat, 'cause we're gonna sing just a little louder. We're gonna dance harder than before. We will rise with a brand new fire. As we will sing.
safe. Keep in touch with us. We love you very much. Happy BroadwayCon.